Marathon of unboxing continues with a look at Revolution Road from Compass Games. This is a 2017 game, came out last summer, but I just got around to getting it. I purchased this also at WBC for $40. So very excited about this one. This is designed by John Paniski. I have done multiple interviews with John covering his games, Revolution Road, Blood on the Ohio, the Berlin Airlift, doing one now currently with him on the New Zealand Land Wars, Maori Wars. John's a great designer, always takes things very thoughtfully and looks at them in a different way, I think, and uses very easy to understand mechanics to replicate those battles. This one, Revolution Road, actually deals with two battles from the American Revolutionary War. One was the continual battle running between Boston and Concord, when the Americans just were fed up that the British were going to come and seize their weapons at an armory. They kind of took pot shots at them along I think it was like a 20-mile hike. And that was really the first conflict, armed conflict in that revolution. And then the second game or scenario is Bunker Hill, which is really the first pitched battle where the British were marching up Bunker Hill and the Americans fired down upon them. So you actually have two of the great sayings from history that come from both battles covered in this game. The first is the first shot heard round the world, or the shot heard round the world at Lexington and Concord. And then the other was don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. So that was from the Battle of Bunker Hill. So let's go ahead and open this up. Once again, before I open it, let me close that. This is their 2-inch box. Very nice art. The art was done by Bill Morgall. And I think Bill I think he used, both of these pictures are from history. They're historical paintings, but he used that and created this neat looking montage. I like the signpost with Lexington, Concord, Charlestown, and Boston. I think that was very good. But the art's clear. The maps are different. They are a little more interesting and eye-appealing and catching than some other maps I've seen. But here, let's look at the playing time, 2 to 3 hours. There are a couple different scenarios, and you can play this game solo. You can see the solitaire rating is very high. Complexity is 4 out of 10, 228 counters, and then there are also some cards, and then there are two 22 by 34-inch maps. You can see, once again, John Paniski and Bill Morgall, and then the graphic design was done by Bill Morgall. I've talked with Bill. Bill actually participated in the interview I did with John Paniski on this game, and then also has given me a couple of assists. He's doing the art for another Compass game that's coming out, Europe in Turmoil. He gave me an assist and put me in contact with that designer, Chris Van Burden, and Chris did an interview with me that has done very well on the blog. So that's a look at the outside in the box of Revolution Road. Let's go ahead and put that aside. So these are small 6-siders. They are pretty cool looking. Red and blue, obviously, for the Patriots and the British. And then these are action cards. Let me go ahead and open these up. We'll take a look at these first. And these are going to determine how many units move and can fire and take different actions. So very cool. Nice thematically done cards. I like the backs on them. A little dark to see in this light. Let me turn it there. You can see. Very nice looking though. I like that. So yeah, there are some, it's card assisted where the cards are going to determine some of the actions. The first thing we see here, there are two rule books, one for each of the scenarios. So here's the Boston to Concord game or scenario. And there's that historical painting. And actually, if I remember correctly, this painting was done, I think, in the flip side, and Bill flipped it around to use on his game or his cover here. But a very, very quick look at the rule book here. Paper's really nice, kind of looks thematic, looks a little aged. Here's some of the historical background, which once again, I like to see the historical background because I get to learn about, although I've read dozens of books on these events, but it's always good to read something else and learn. This rule book is 24 pages. Fairly dense text. There is some designer notes and credits. There are some examples of how to do the different elements like planning, gathering intelligence, mustering, hindering muster, escaping capture, rally. There's a lot of different actions that players can take in the game. So that's a look at From Boston to Concord series rules, and then here's Bunker Hill. Also, this rule book is 23 pages, and here's a look at the different elements. There's some, there's a solitaire scenario, which I'm going to try that out for sure. Definitely want to try that out to get a feel for the game. Rules are pretty dense, and one thing I'm noticing, there's not a lot of examples of play, which is fairly uncommon, but this game might be fairly easy enough that it's not going to be that difficult. So there's a look at the map used in the Bunker Hill game. So we'll get a look at that here in a moment. Yeah, rules don't look overly complex. There's some good player aids. Actually, there's quite a few player aids. Here's a solitaire player aid for that Boston to Concord. Looks like you can do the Patriot bot. Let's see if you can do so you can do a Patriot bot or the British bot for the Boston to Concord mission. So that's going to be cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I definitely want to try them solitaire. I'm not necessarily a solitaire gamer, but if there's an option for solitaire and it's well designed, and I do have quite a few specific solitaire games, I'm game and we'll give it a try. So here's two of those cards. So that's Boston to Concord. So I'm assuming maybe there aren't similar. No, there are. So here are two bot sheets for solitaire play of the Bunker Hill scenario. So yeah, they've got really good player aids for that. I think that's going to be fairly easy to follow. And then they've got the kind of the rule sheets for the couple of different scenarios from Boston to Concord. These things say how to conduct a battle. So really, it looks like you don't need the rule book. Obviously, it's a good idea to read the rule book, but you're going to be able to understand how to do your different actions for the scenarios by checking out these cards. Here's one for the Boston to Concord. It gives the different actions, action summary. You can see attack, assault, charge, move, assemble, ambush, and snipe. And I think those are, yeah, you can see also the flags denote who can take what actions. So this is a Patriot and a British action, but here charge can only be done by the British. That's thematic because the fighting units on the Patriot side were militia. They were the fabled Minutemen, so they didn't have a lot of military training and couldn't necessarily charge British troops. And then you can see the Americans, the Patriots, and their fight from the bushes, ambush, snipe, assemble. They weren't really great at lining up and going toe-to-toe with regulars, but they can do these snipe and ambush and different elements to try and win the game in a different way. And then here is the flip side of that, showing a couple more. Rally, search. Search is, the British are supposed to search for the stash of hidden arms. You can see that select region with a hidden arms marker or Hancock or Adams piece. They're looking for the armories, and they're looking for Hancock and Adams, the leaders, and that's how they're going to win. And there's some rules how to do that. So that's cool. Escape. A son of liberty can escape, so that would be Adams or Hancock if they've been captured. There's hinder, there's call to arms, trying to assemble more fighters, night riders, etc. So yeah, very, very cool. I'm excited about this game, and especially since they have a couple of different solitaire bots for each of the scenarios. I'm very excited about that. Here's a look at the Bunker Hill, and they've got how to conduct an assault. And then here are some of the victory conditions for that scenario. So yeah, these are very well-made cards. It looks like they're going to help you play the game and give you really a full accounting of the different actions that are doable. Here's a look at the counters. Fairly basic, straightforward counters. You've got hidden Patriot units. You've got different leaders right here. And then you've got, remember I mentioned the Sons of Liberty, Adams and Hancock. Hidden arms. So those are going to be hidden around. You're going to use those. The British are going to try to find those markers. There's a look at the British units. You know, they're pretty basic counters. You've got fired and moved counters there at the bottom for administration. You have rally, and you obviously have your different Knight Riders here, Revere, Prescott, and Dawes. Yeah, so very simple counters, nothing fancy about them. On the other side, there's some neat, you got some fires there. You have panic on the back of these leaders and these, militiamen. So they're going to panic on certain rolls. And then there you get a look at the British units become broken. So yeah, pretty nice looking counters, simple counters. There you can get a look at those counters. They look like British soldiers searching houses. That's going to be fun. So yeah, very small counters too. And they look to be pretty centered. They are very simple, and I'm okay with that. Here you have some mugs of ale. Don't exactly know how those are used, but they have men on the back. That may be how you muster or get reinforcements. Now we're to the map, and there's two maps. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the boxes out of the way so I can spread these out. So you can get a good, they are paper maps. I have no problem with paper maps. Like everyone, I think I like mounted maps quite a bit. But mounted maps add a little bit to the cost. There's no doubt. And I think sometimes paper maps are just as good. You may be asking yourself, what's he talking about? Well, I'm a weirdo. I know that. So here is the From Boston to Concord map. So it just shows Boston and Charlestown are obviously on the right here. Over here you can see that. And the British units are going to march out through these different areas. Here on the left of the map, you can see Concord. Here's Lexington. And there are different areas where hidden arms are going to be distributed and the leaders are going to be put, and you have to capture those in order to win this game. Victory point tracks at the top, turn record tracks there at the top, different reinforcement points, a lot of other different elements. Here's a look at just the list of player actions that you can take, and there's a lot of them. There's 15 different actions. Your cards are going to be placed here, and then you're going to track your action points and reserve points here. So yeah, pretty cool looking game. So that's, once again, that is the from Boston to Concord map. We'll go ahead and open the Bunker Hill map. And I like the style of these maps. They're very, very different. And I've seen a couple of Bill Morgall's map. If you saw our video where we did a how to play for John Paniski's other game from GMT Games called Plains Indian Wars, you can see some of the elements. But here is Bunker Hill up here on the top. Here's Breed's Hill, Moulton's Hill. And the different, you'll notice, these are points from which the British can invade. And I think that those are up to the players how they can invade there. So you're going to invade from different areas. These are marks for firing and hitting values. You're either positive or negative. Here on the left, you can see turn record track, ammo and morale track, victory points. Once again, the action points and the reserve points. So the game looks pretty simple, and it's standard across both of these scenarios with only slightly different rules. Up in the upper right, you can see they have a list of the player actions. Not as many actions as the other one. Remember, there were 15. There's only 12 here. But here there are naval movements, bombardments, cannonades, assault, volley fire. So it's a different map. This is, I guess what I would say is this is a more traditional, the Bunker Hill scenario is probably more of a traditional line your forces up, and get shots at each other type game, whereas the other one is more indicative of how the Patriots fought throughout the Revolution, more hit and run and that kind of style. But I think overall this game looks exciting. I think it looks fairly simple. I think the rules are clear and pretty understandable, and I look forward to that. I also like how it has a couple of different solo scenarios or options, because once again, solo is good when you can't find an opponent. Alexander and I actually play pretty often, but when we can't, it's good to be able to get together and or when we can't get together, it's good to be able to play a solo game. So there you go, guys. There's a look at Revolution Road from Compass Games, designed by John Paniski. Came out in 2017. I just bought it. I'm excited about it. I want to give it a try. So there you go. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and go ahead and subscribe to our channel. You can also check out a lot of information. For instance, a designer interview with John Paniski and Bill Morgall on this game, Revolution Road, on our written blog, thePlayersAid.com. You can read designer interviews there, action points, which are summary of certain rules elements of games, how to fire, how to rally, how to charge, how to assault, etc. Try to give an idea of how the game plays in those written summaries. We do full reviews. We post some of our videos there as well. We do various monthly features. We do other elements like the love-hate relationship and best 3 games on certain subjects. So anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you later. We've got plenty more of these to do, believe us. Thanks. I've been Grant for the Players Aid.